I'm Peggy Peck. The heparin saga continued today as the FDA announced that tests conducted at a crude heparin processing facility in China identified a contaminant in multiple lots of heparin active pharmaceutical ingredient, as Dr. Janet Woodcock explains here.
Well, as you're all well aware, there have been serious adverse events associated with heparin marketed by Baxter Healthcare Corporation in the United States. The active pharmaceutical ingredient in this product comes from the Changzhou SPL plant in China. FDA conducted an inspection of this plant, and we obtained 28 API samples. And today what we're announcing is that using our screening tests, we found that 20 of these samples had a heparin-like contaminant.
Dr. Woodcock said the FDA did not know how the contaminant got into the API at the Chinese plant, as she explains here.
No, we have not identified that. We are continuing to nail down the identity of this contaminant. And I think when we have completed that, we have multiple laboratories around the country working on this issue, and I think we're very close. When we have completed that, I think it will help us in understanding how this may have gotten into the heparin. But we have, through our testing of the samples we collected there, we know the contaminant was present in those APIs in China. What we're doing now is we'll be either testing or getting results from manufacturers who are testing any APIs that are imported from China. So there is a large amount of movement of heparin around the world, and we understand that worldwide there is testing going on. But what we're announcing today for the U.S. is that at our borders, either we will be testing or we will be receiving test results from manufacturers or importing these APIs, so that we'll get a much better picture of whether there's any contamination existing, and then we can trace it back to where it might have originated from.
Elaborating on efforts to protect the U.S. heparin supply, FDA officials said that 5 companies, which supply the bulk of U.S. heparin, have signed written agreements pledging them to test both finished and crude heparin before it enters the U.S. market. And finally, Dr. Woodcock had this advice for clinicians who might be fielding calls from nervous patients.
And I think doctors should reassure patients. We have not, since we've had the recall, we have not received a report of a death from this. We've received a couple allergic type reactions, but as people said, that there is a background of this that we see. So we're not seeing a cluster of events like we saw earlier. We are committed to looking every day at the adverse events that we report. We're also committed to putting this testing and this safety net at the border into place. The other thing you should please tell doctors, if they have a case, please report it to the FDA, because that will be of tremendous help to them. And if they would note the manufacturer and the lot number of the product associated with it and put it into the report and put as much information into the report as possible so we can evaluate it, that would be extremely helpful to us.
I'm Peggy Peck, MedPage Today.